All right, welcome everybody to the latest Live Motocross Times Whiskey Throttle podcast as I'm joined by the great man Jeff Beaver, Whiskey Throttle Media Editor at Large. Before we welcome him, we'd like to thank the sponsors in Fly Racing, 24MX, Dirt Store, Filk Superlean and Dragon Energy for all their support, as without them, none would be possible. All right, thank you to the fans as well for listening and supporting all our content. We really appreciate it. The numbers are growing, and yeah, we look forward to continuing to do that with your support. But on to Jeff now. How's life? And thanks for joining us after A2 as we have a look at that and also preview Glendale. The Triple Crown should be epic, mate. But you've had a big weekend, haven't you?
Yeah, it was good. There was nothing too spectacular. I mean, I think the biggest thing to come out of the weekend was Hayden giving Juju that love tap in the corner, and then two corners later obliterating his nutsack when he cased that jump and then nose dived into the takeoff of the next one. But I mean, as far as filming goes, everything was pretty vanilla, nothing like, oh shit, but it was fun. It was cool. Caught a couple cool shots. I got Jet making the pass on Anderson, and I got Roxon making the pass on Ando as well. So those were good shots. Didn't I think Cody Shock was my favorite thing of the weekend. You know, I thought that was pretty sick. And then I was making fun of Billy because Billy crashed right in front of me in the heats, and he's face down in the sand. And I had my iPhone on my camera rig, and he's just sitting there taking his time to get up. So I reached my left hand around to where I could see it in my iPhone, and then I gave him the thumbs down, and I sent him that reel, and he's like, "Oh, he's all really?" I'm all, "Yeah, hey, I didn't post it to the internet, so what does he do? He posts it." So, but that, yeah, I think the highlight reel actually was those two guys fighting like a bunch of chicks out in the
Yeah.
face of that jump. That was funny as shit. I'm sitting there listening, and I'm sitting this reel is like, man, I'd love to see that in slow mo. And I'm like, oh no, no problem. So I hit stop on the record and posted it and said, Adam, see this reel. You know, RV kind of lit me up. It's not good for the sport, but I never even responded because the fans kind of, oh yeah, Mister practicing karate in the middle of the track at Hangtown with J Law. They kind of gave it to him. I'm like, yeah, I guess that answers that. I don't got much to say, But I'm like, how's it not good for the sport, dude? I think it's great. Let them box.
Yeah, mate, it was certainly interesting, watching race day live there. They had Chad Reed on there as well at the time, and then just in the background, just perfect timing, those blokes having a swing. So pretty cool, mate. But yeah, how was the
What did
vibe at
Chad say?
A2? Yeah, I was going to say, how was the vibe at A2 as well, mate? How do you think the track shaped up with the two whoop sections? Obviously, pretty cool stuff you get to film, and you do an awesome job. The content was absolutely dialed, mate. But yeah, did the rain throw a spanner in the works for you as well with filming? And obviously, it did for the riders a little bit, but just some of the vibes and the chat about the track as well, mate, from your perspective.
Yeah, the rain that sucked. I didn't want to have my camera out in that bullshit, so I took it and ran it into the tunnel and set it next to a security guard I know, and he kept an eye on it, and I just kind of filmed some shit with my iPhone. So that kind of at nighttime the iPhone's not very very good. In the daytime the iPhone's dialed. You can get some really good stuff on the iPhone, but at night the sensor's so small on that thing it doesn't work out well. But I wasn't willing to let my camera get soaked. It's just too much damn money in that shit. I did pull a fucking baby Huey and tossed a $3,000 lens onto the floor of the photo den and broke the ND filter on it. The lens was fine, but it just hit the ground, and I'm like, you stupid son of a bitch. Gave it to Nate, and he goes, ah, yeah, it's fine. You'll be good. So that cost me $100 for a new filter, but yeah, that was about it for camera adventures. But the rain was it wasn't bad. It was like 15 minutes, and then just all of a sudden for the 450 main, it just stopped. I kind of wish it would have been a mutter. That would have been gnarly.
Yeah, mate, there was a lot to enjoy about that main event. Lots of battles, obviously some close racing, but Jet got the job done. He was on rails, mate. Eventually made that move on Anderson to put in a masterclass, but must have been pretty cool just watching for almost the time bomb to go off. And Jet was clearly patient and wary to make that move stick when he made it. So he gave Anderson sort of no reason or chance to retaliate. So he pulled the trigger, perfect timing, and then he put the gap on so he could just ride to victory. But yeah, pretty impressive with Jet, wasn't it, mate? Obviously, still not completely there with the bike, so that's pretty pretty scary. There's a lot of room for development there, mate. So your take on Jet, Anderson, Roxon, it was a pretty awesome race, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I know at the end of the race, the bike was giving them a little bit of an issue. They're still trying to figure out. So that wasn't Jet at 100%. So yeah, when he's got that bike dialed, yeah, and it fits him like a rubber. Yeah, you guys are fucked.
Yeah, no, he's tough to get when he's on form, mate. And obviously Anderson, he was obviously dealing with the sickness, which a lot of them seem to be from the previous week, but he was pretty good that main event, wasn't he? Obviously sort of dropped a little bit in that end stage, probably due to the sickness, but yeah, very impressive ride, no doubt for him. And then Kenny, he's obviously got that red plate, been a long time since that's happened, especially on a Suzuki, but he's shown that better staying power this year, Kenny. He's not fading back as much, and the 2-4-2 results in the 3 rounds show that. So I don't know if he's a realistic title contender, mate, him and Anderson, but it's been awesome to see them up there, hasn't it?
Yeah, seeing Kenny get the red plate is kind of a mixed bag for me. I'm not a big fan of him, but it's also just as a race fan, you got to respect the fact that he's riding that good, and hats off to him for being the most solid and getting the most points. That's a pretty amazing feat on a bike that hasn't been developed in what, 6 years. Other than them just refining it. I gave Nate a stock 450 today, and he's like, "Damn, this thing feels like a tank." Big heavy bike, and compared to the new machines, and he's out there with running the red number plates. So speaks volumes about him as a racer and his racecraft, and then what Larry and that team has done with that bike. I have the utmost respect for that. But as far as him getting the red plate, yeah, I could care less. Will he keep it? Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be awesome. You can never count him out in the Triple Crowns as well, same as Anderson. Obviously, Sexton admitted he was a little bit unwell heading in, so pretty good fourth for him. Obviously, if you didn't know, you'd think he would have reeled those guys in at some point during the main because he was pretty close and then just sort of faded a little bit. But yeah, Sexton, give another week of getting better. Same with Hunter. He's obviously still recovering from that illness, and those guys should be right up there in the Triple Crown, mate. Your take on those guys' fortunes?
Yeah, I think they're gonna. Yeah, Chase is consistent. I don't know how he's gonna do in the Triple Crowns. If he gets the starts, I think he'll be fine. But I think Roxon will. I think Roxon has got to be your odds-on favorite to win the Triple Crown. That and Tomac, but Chase, I don't know how he's gonna do in those Triple Crown environments, or Jet for that matter.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome to see how that one plays out, mate. And you'll obviously be there. And what do you make of Justin Cooper's night? Obviously started shocking, didn't make the main out of the heat. Then he had the LCQ, gained a bit of momentum there, and then he got the start in the main and looked excellent. I guess the only thing that really held him back from getting a podium was jumping the whoop. So yeah, really gone from zero to hero a bit there, Jay Coop. So six probably would have wanted more, but a good result after how the night was looking initially.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on with him in the whoop section, but he obviously wasn't down to skim him, and I think that cost him because the guys were flying through that whoop section. But I don't know, he'll figure it out. But I was stoked for him that he wired to wired the LCQ and then ripped that whole shot. He's really sneaky about just every once in a while, man. He'll just bang a hole shot, and you're like, damn, where'd that come from? He and Coop's a cool dude. He quiet and just doesn't do a lot of talking. He just does a lot of good riding, and so stuck for him.
Yeah, he's a humble, sort of intelligent rider, just goes about his business, mate, which, he doesn't get in the headlines often, but yeah, when you keep putting in rides like that, it won't be too long. And yeah, Tomac, frustrating night, just terrible start, mate. That was the thing that cost him. And he got stuck behind some dudes coming back through the field for way too long than he would have liked. He's just hard to make moves on that track at points, wasn't it? But the speed was still epic. He came back, had a pretty nice battle with Cooper Webb, who obviously he was like 13th off the start too. So pretty rough one for those two star races, but they ended up getting back up there. But yeah, had a little battle as well, mate. So not the ideal night. You don't often see all three star guys outside the top five, but they'll be looking for more, won't they?
Well, they were consistent. What were they, sixth, seventh, and eighth?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what the hell happened with Tomac this weekend, dude. I thought he would have come out swinging, but no, that's racing, I guess. Do I think he's out of it? No, I think he'll do pretty good in the Triple Crown. Honestly, now that I really think about it, if he just gets those starts dialed, and I'm pretty sure he really focused on starts this weekend, especially with the Triple Crown coming in.
Yeah, I think he spun off the gate pretty bad. So, but you look at the point standing, obviously Roxon 62, Sexton 59, Jet 57, along with Tomac 57 and Webb 52. So five guys separated by 10 points. It's shaping up nicely, obviously. And anything else from the 450 class you'd like to touch on, mate? Obviously Mookie and Barsha, 9th and 10th, still building. But yeah, it was just sort of beyond the top guys. It's sort of hard to probably keep track of some of those other dudes. But you probably see it better than most, getting all the footage and having access to it, mate. So anything else you'd like to touch on?
I was bummed for Ferrandas
Oh,
and AP. It's like, God damn it, dude. I want AP to come out there and just lasso a tornado and kick some ass, but he's not there right now, and we all want him to be there. That's the big bummer. And then Brandis, oh man, that guy has got the worst freaking luck. I don't know if he like has seances where he sacrifices black cats while breaking mirrors or some shit. I don't know what that dude's deal is, but he's having a rough go, dude.
he sure is an AP. It was his birthday as well, so definitely not a celebration. He would have wanted it. Listen to Weege, I believe he said that Plessinger had the points lead this time last year, so it's definitely not going to plan for him, is it?
No, yeah, it's sucking the big fat one for him.
Yeah, well said, mate. He certainly will be ready for a bounce back, and he dropped that cowboy hat for the fans to buy as well, which is something that's pretty cool to keep a lookout for. But I guess onto the 250 class, mate. There was some pretty box office stuff going on. That battle between Deegan and Juju obviously spilled onto social media as well, on and off the track. Deegan just can't help himself but get a little dig in there, can he, mate? It's always good value, but he talks the talk and he walks the walk. So fair play to him, I guess.
Hey, I saw that during I was in a training class for the refinery yesterday, and I saw that pull up and I'm all, what is this? And I could hear the audio, Dad, Dad. And I'm like, oh shit. And Juju had put up that post, like, oh whatever, and I'm like, oh, here we go. Here comes the boys talking shit. They were fixing to put on a master class. So, and me, I threw up the whole lap, and I cut it off right as Deegan cased that jump, and everybody's like, "Oh, why didn't you show it?" And I go, "Because it's its own separate reel, dude. Check that one out." But uh, everybody's, "Oh, dude, that was dirty." I go, "Quit your bitching. There was nothing dirty about that. Juju would have done it to him, and it's not like he punted him over the side of the berm trying to end his career. He just gave him a little tappy tap tap back tire to the underside of the front tire, and Juju left the door open. That shit when I was a kid, dude. And, think of Chicken and Bradshaw, dude. Bradshaw would have punted, or Chicken would have punted Bradshaw into the cheap seats. So that ain't dirty racing. That's just dudes ripping, dude. Everybody's flipping a bunch of goddamn pussies about that shit.
Yeah, mate. Round three, and obviously Deegan's got his first win, and probably many didn't expect it to take this long, but yeah, you're probably looking to keep rolling, and he's still 7 points back on Juju. Smith's 2 points back from Deegan, and then Shimoda, valiant effort again, mate, riding with those broken fingers, and he is 13 points back. So he just wants to stay in the hunt, get through this one, and then obviously the East takes over. So I hope he can get some recovery time, but it's shaping up pretty well at the top there, isn't it, mate? And obviously Cole Davies getting his first podium. What an effort again! He just keeps impressing, doesn't he?
Yeah, I called it last week. I said, okay, 5-3 is going to go one, and he did it. The kid, he likes to win. Juju rode great. Um, be interesting to see what happens when we head east. Um, some of those tracks back. I guess everything's really staying on the West Coast, so there's nothing really going to change on the type of the tracks they're riding. Maybe Denver and Salt Lake will be a little bit different for them, but uh, the the East Coast rounds, I'm looking forward to that. Just a little bit different racing and probably a little bit quieter scene. That'll be fun. But those guys were ripping. Hats off to Joe Shimoda. That dude's got my utmost respect now. I didn't know really what to think of him for a while. Like, what's this dude doing? But when I saw him come walking down the tunnel the other day at San Diego, and then riding 2 weekends in a row with broken fingers, top 10, and yeah, dude's a savage. Good on him.
Yeah, well said, mate. And obviously, what was your take on Drew Adams' debut? Really impressive. So much going on with that team. Obviously, had Levi pulling out at the start with sickness and Garrett Marchbanks and Masterpool getting injured. Obviously, Drew Adams got the call. It was a little bit of a last minute thing. He's so keen to do it, and he definitely proved his class, didn't he, mate? Really good debut for the 16-year-old. It's so young to be making your debut. As Daniel Blair was saying, like the youth movement in these 250s, there's some super impressive talents, mate, and he's just the latest of them. But yeah, great performance on debut, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't touch on Cole, but I'm stoked on Cole getting his podium. And dude, you've got to count him as a contender to win the Triple Crown. The way he starts and rips and how fast he is at the beginning of the races, it would not shock me to see him win the Triple Crown at Glendale. And then who else were we talking about? Sorry, I'm brain farting.
Drew Adams.
Oh yeah, Drew Adams. Yeah, that was cool. That made my day to see him out there. You know, I got to watch his first pro national. In fact, I got the number plate hanging on my wall from that race. That was I was pretty stoked to swoop that one up. I talked Buddy into to parting ways with that, and then the kid is just happy to be there. You know, I filmed him watching the national anthem, dude, and he was all stoked on it. I said something to him. I go, "Hey, I got you on film watching the national anthem underneath the stadium, looking down the tunnel." He goes, "Man, this shit brought tears to my eyes," you know. And yeah, he's just a good kid. If you get a chance to meet him, he's just super nice, big ox of a 16-year-old kid. Great finish for him, and I think he'll really kind of settle in there and be one of the top guys for pro circuit next year. Had he got hurt, I think Mitch would have just said fuck it and went and sold Vespas or something.
Yeah, he's certainly not much luck, especially the last couple of years with injuries and his riders, mate. But hopefully Drew Adams can, yeah, fly the flag at this round. And then they've got some serious heavy hitters led by Kitchen as the series goes east. McAdoo, Hammaker. It's going to be amazing, that championship. But before we get there, obviously, I want to have your thoughts on Parker Ross, mate. What a great night. Obviously, great start in the main. Looked good in the heat. On the cards for a podium for a second there, mate. I think he had a crash, didn't he? And then obviously just sort of trying to recalibrate after that's pretty tough. But Parker Ross looked good, mate. Obviously, you love stirring the pot with him with some of those videos and a bit of trash talk. But yeah, super good talent, mate. Super good bloke. So looking for him to continue it at the Triple Crown.
Oh, he's a shit stain, and his fucking chick will smoke him, dude. I'm all about KK. Let's get her out there racing Supercross. He's soft as pudding. No, I like Parker. I think he's rad. He talks a lot of shit, and it's fun. Me, him, and Billy all kind of go back and forth. Busting each other's balls. I did an R. Kelly edit with him. I believe I could fly. I was like, "Spread your wings, little buddy." The whole team's just like dying laughing because I'm busting his balls. His chick's busting his balls. Billy's laughing at him. He's funny as hell. I walk in the pits and I film him. He's like, "Hey," puts his hand in front of my camera. I'll film autographs later. You know, the kid's funny, dude. If you don't follow Parker, check him out, dude. He's got a good personality and a little bastard rips, dude. He is fast. I see him doing some gnarly stuff in the future. And then Billy, gosh damn it, Billy. Billy was Billy
He
was
looks
in
good in the fly
position to
kit.
transfer. He was in tradition or position to transfer straight into the main, and he just decided that sand looked really comfortable, and he's old and needed a nap. So Billy took a nap in the sand for a minute. He did not get hurt. He just said that looked cozy. I'm gonna lay down here for a minute, and so I messed with him a little bit on that and sent him that post. I think Billy's got one coming for me. I think he's gonna let his dog shit in my shoes or something next time I'm hanging out. I'm gonna go in his trailer, take my shoes off when I go in there. I'm gonna go put them back on. There's gonna be a steamer in one of them. But hey, what do you do? His friends. But yeah, those guys are rad, and I'm stoked for Parker.
Yeah, mate, it's pretty cool. Obviously, they're running a cool team under there, and you know them well. And hopefully they can put on another good show and get both boys in the main because it's on the cards. Billy's definitely got the speed still. He can definitely throw those whips still. It's crazy at 41, isn't he, that he's still going around?
Yeah, he'll be 42 in what, 2 weeks? I mean,
Wow.
Grandpa's getting it.
Yeah, man, he's going hard. And anything else from that 250 class that sort of caught your eye? Obviously, Jordan Smith crashing just before the end there to give Cole Davies the podium was pretty frustrating. Cody Schock, fifth there to back up his strong start to the season. I was looking through the lap times. I think it was when he got the second fastest lap time in the whole race. So behind Deegan only. So Cody's doing some good work. Obviously, they did some pretty cool stuff with the kit and the bike on the weekend too. Shimoda sixth, Moserman. If he can get a start, he'll be right up there because he's having to come back through the field. Super talent. And then Adams eighth, we spoke on. Bordon ninth, and Yoda was sick, wasn't he, mate? So, good effort
Yeah,
by him.
Yoder got a whole shot in the heat number two, and
Mm.
then Cody getting his whole shot and waxing everybody in his heat race. That was sick, dude. I was stoked for Cody and the club guys. That's a great team, and man, just watching those guys the last two seasons where they were in 2023 to where they are now. Wow, they really stepped their game up. They've got first form on board with them, which is sick. If you guys don't know who Andy Frisella is or know about his company, check out Andy. That dude's a G. And uh, and then Cole Davies. Did you see the press conference?
Oh, yeah, talking about the Whitaker's chocolate from New Zealand. It's good stuff.
Yeah, yeah, but it just like when he saw his crash, oh, I didn't want to be hurt, but I was like, oh yeah, yeah, Cole is so quiet and doesn't get excited, but the joy he had in Jordan eating shit was just hilarious. I mean, he's just, I don't know, that kid's funny, dude. He's pretty cool. So there's a lot of cool things I'm looking forward to seeing at Glendale.
Yeah, mate. Obviously, as we move to Glendale, if you look back to last year, Roxon won, Anderson second, Lawrence third, Tomac fourth, Hunter Lawrence fifth, and then Ferrandis, Webb, Stewart, Chase, Plessinger. Any memories from that race, mate? Obviously, Kenny Roxon getting a win on the Suzuki catches the headlines a lot these days, especially with the bike and, the lack of development on it. But yeah, it should be another good race, another great stadium. You a fan of Triple Crowns as a whole, though, mate?
Yeah, I like the Triple Crowns a lot, and that stadium's fast. If you look at that track, there's four super long rhythm lanes. They're going to be hitting high speeds, big jumps. It's going to be gnarly. I think it's going to really suit Deegan well. For his crazy combos that he'll put together. It's going to be a Cinders track. I think we're going to see some stuff out of Jet and Hayden this weekend on those rhythm lanes. That's just going to be kind of mind bending. Looking at the track for filming, I was like, I think we're gonna go to the safety hold this weekend. It's really tight on the sides, and they jammed a lot of track in that stadium. So definitely be looking for Hayden and Jet in my viewfinder for sure.
Yeah, might be doing some pretty cool rhythms, popping some stuff that others might not be doing, mate. That's kind of what you're looking for as a filmer to be, the first one to do a certain quad, especially on press day. It's pretty cool, isn't it, mate?
Oh yeah, that quad that Deegan popped at San Diego, I've got 8 million views just between two clips on. I was like, the full speed one did good. Let's see how the slow mo does, and they both did about 4 million views. I'm like, yeah, people wonder why I put so much Deegan shit up, man. People want to see it.
Yeah, mate, it's true. People love him. The fans absolutely love it and
They
keep it
love him or
coming.
they hate him.
Yeah,
There's no
absolutely,
there's
mate.
no in between.
Yeah, I know. He's good value, obviously. He put that post up after he did that sort of trash talk one about Juju, and he was like, I was just talking crap, back to work now. And he's got a photo of him and Christian Craig on the cycle, mate. He's only good for the sport, bringing more eyes, I guess, really, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's nothing wrong with that kid. He's good for the sport. I've had some people message me all butthurt that I condone the what he does, and I'm like, well, you know, I kind of do whatever I want to do, and if you don't fucking like it, go follow fucking Vital. I don't give a shit. Um, but I'm here for it. I like aggressive shit. I think one of the guys, I forget, maybe it was Nate or one of the guys was like, they need a fight box. Like when they come off the track, there needs to be like a 10 by 10 area where they can just go drop their bikes and just go beat the shit out of each other. Their ratings would be through the roof. So I'm all for it. So if you don't like that, I like the aggressive shit. You just hit that unfollow button and see if I give a shit.
Yeah, mate. Obviously, that Deegan stuff, what sort of breaks through to the mainstream. And I think the Barstool Sports Channel even showed that fight between the privateers at Supercross.
Oh,
That's pretty
did
big
it?
stuff, isn't it? Yeah, that's
Barstool showed
massive.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
Look for Deegan to keep bringing the heat, mate. And obviously, before I let you go, mate, any final thoughts? What's the week ahead look like? How excited are you for the weekend? How's the crew at Whiskey Throttle going, Nate and Ping and all the lads, mate? It's all looking good.
No, Nate's doing good. He's heading over with me to, or he'll be in Arizona with me, and I get to go stop and see Pops on the way over there tomorrow. So I get to go see my dad for a couple days and go do some racing and Ping's been on his deathbed since San Diego. He got the flu in San Diego, and I mean he's just man down, pimping distress, dude. I mean, fuck, that guy sounded like a bag of hammered dicks last week. So uh, hopefully he kind of comes out of it this week. But yeah, he just sounded rough, man. So I even got my wife to go to the race. That kind of tripped me out, dude. You know, so yeah, I shot a video of her sitting in the stands from across the stadium, and I sent it to her, and she's all creeper. I'm like, what? I'm like, creep, you're my wife, you idiot. You know, so um, yeah, she checked out after the heat races. You know, it's not really her big thing, but the fact that I got my wife to go to the race was pretty big deal for me. You know, and I'm like, please don't beat anybody up in the stands. I could just see the jumbotron, my wife beating some bitch's ass up in the stands, and be like, oh shit, I don't know her. You know, that was my big fear all weekend. That I guess if I could sum up my weekend, my wife didn't get in a fight in the stands, and I didn't get in trouble. So I'm dialed, and I'll probably never get her to go to a race again. So I survived that bullshit.
Yeah, that's awesome, mate. Good value stuff. And just quickly, obviously, the series heads to Tampa and then Detroit and then Arlington. Are you going to be at any of those races, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing Tampa, Detroit, and Arlington, and then I'm tapping out. Nate's going to do Indy and Birmingham, and then we're not doing Daytona because you have to sell a testicle to be able to afford to go there, and they don't give you very good track access. So why spend a shitload of money if they're not going to really let you on the track and do what we're going to do? So it's not worth the time and the money to go. You know, whatever. Sorry, but yeah, don't expect nothing from Whiskey Throttle for Daytona. I mean, I'd love to go, but not the way things work out, and if it wasn't during bike week, it'd make it a lot more attractive to go. But then that's just not my scene. I don't give a shit about any of that. The less people, the better. I would have done real good being a filmer during COVID. I would have loved that shit. Nobody in there, nobody there. Like, cool, in and out. Leave me alone. Let me film. But and then I'll hop in for Seattle because I'll be up there, and then Nate will do a couple more rounds, and then I'm hopping back into New York and do New York, Pittsburgh, Denver, and Salt Lake.
Wild, mate. The season's going to be a good one. It's a long one, obviously, but yeah, it's a good one, and you guys are pumping out the content for sure. And before I let you go, mate, we'll thank the sponsors in Fly Racing, 24MX, Dirt Store, Fuchs Silkaline, and Dragon Energy for all the incredible support, as without them, none of this would be possible. All right, thanks again, mate. Been great to have a chat again in your busy schedule, and we'll catch up again soon.
Yeah, let's catch up next week.
No worries, mate. Have a good one.